Comment down below where you're watching from and don't forget to like and subscribe if you hate Karen. David Johnson, a hardworking father living in a peaceful suburban neighborhood, never expected his quiet afternoon to spiral into chaos. While trying to decipher the complexities of the tax code inside his home, the sudden blare of sirens shattered the tranquility of the day. Alarmed, David rushed to his window only to spot a police car parked halfway across his lawn, and an officer briskly making his way toward the backyard. David's 3 children, Maya, 16, Jasmine, 14, and Marcus, 10, were simply enjoying a carefree swim in their own backyard pool. Immediately sensing potential trouble, David's instincts kicked in. Being a black man in America, he knew the importance of caution whenever law enforcement got involved, especially with his children. Stepping outside, David spotted the source of the disruption, his neighbor, Agnes Perwinkle. Practically shaking with anger, Agnes pointed furiously toward the pool, loudly accusing David's kids of public indecency. Her exaggerated complaints rang absurd, but David, understanding the stakes, quickly pulled out his phone and began recording the interaction. What started as a normal summer afternoon had rapidly escalated into a dangerous encounter. One fueled by prejudice, ignorance, and the ever-looming threat of injustice in an otherwise ordinary suburban setting. Officer Miller scanned the scene, 3 bewildered kids treading water, a furious Agnes Perwinkle clutching pearls that weren't there, and David Johnson poised with phone in hand. "Ma'am," Miller said, keeping his tone calm, "your allegation is public indecency. I see minors in standard swimwear on private property. Help me understand what's indecent." Agnes drew herself taller. They were splashing provocatively. "And this is my pool." David stepped forward, deed PDF glowing on his phone. "Officer, I own this address. Mortgage-free, taxes paid. I can email you the county record in 30 seconds. Miller accepted the phone, brows rising as he scrolled. "Sir, this shows clear ownership." "Ma'am, where is your proof?" I left it at home," Agnes stammered. "But I've lived here 30 years. 5 houses down," David corrected, pointing toward her Tudor facade. "Not here." Agnes's cheeks flushed. Then, desperation curdled into racism. "They don't belong in a respectable neighborhood," she hissed. Miller's expression chilled. David kept his voice even. "Officer, that slur plus the false report constitutes harassment. Everything's on video. I'd like to press charges." He flipped the screen, a red rec dot winked. Miller nodded. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for filing a false police report, trespass, and harassment with racial animus." As he recited rights, Agnes's bravado collapsed into sputtering disbelief. The children climbed out, towels around shoulders, watching the handcuffs click. Maya whispered, "Dad, are we okay?" "We're fine," David assured, kissing her temple. Inside, he quaked with equal parts anger and relief, anger at how easily prejudice had invaded their yard, relief that documentation and one fair-minded officer had kept tragedy at bay. Neighbors gathered at fences, some filmed, others merely stared. Agnes was guided into the cruiser, still promising revenge. David's camera captured her final glare, then the squad car rolled away, siren silent. The yard fell quiet but changed forever. David exhaled, realizing step 1 was finished. What came next, news crews, HOA whispers, community reckoning, would be a marathon. Yet for the moment, his kids were safe, the pool shimmered innocently, and a sliver of justice had begun its slow unfurling. The patrol car's taillights vanished down Magnolia Ridge, leaving Lionel Carter clutching his phone as neighbors whispered. Within an hour, Beatrice Hawthorne's arrest video hit the local Facebook group. Caption: Karen calls cops on kids in their own pool, gets cuffed. Views skyrocketed. Sunday morning, Lionel set extra waffles for Amaya, Nia, and Micah, who were still shaken. Before syrup cooled, a minivan unloaded reporters. He declined interviews, but one statement slipped out, "Record everything. That saved my family." By afternoon, a knock rattled the door. Arthur Blake, freshly appointed HOA president, stood with a clipboard. "Mr. Carter, there's a formal complaint, public disturbance, filed by Ms. Hawthorne prior to her arrest." Lionel raised an eyebrow. "She trespassed. I have video, police report, officer testimony." Arthur looked sheepish. "Protocol says I investigate. May I review the footage?" They sat at Lionel's kitchen island. The clip played, Beatrice's shriek, racist outburst, cuffs. Arthur exhaled. Clear enough. He scribbled complaint dismissed and, after a pause, added, HOA will issue a statement condemning misuse of emergency services. Mind if I cite your video? Please do, Lionel said. Small victory, but meaningful. That night a new post appeared on the HOA portal. HOA denounces harassment, encourages residents to document incidents. Training on implicit bias forthcoming. Comments flooded, most supportive. A few anonymous accounts cried, overreaction. Lionel wasn't surprised. Meanwhile Beatrice's mugshot surfaced on Channel 7. The anchor reported she'd been released on bail, preliminary hearing set for next month. Social media dredged up earlier Yelp rants. Servers, clerks, landscapers labeled incompetent. A pattern crystallized. At bedtime, Amaya lingered by Lionel's door. Dad, why did she hate us? Lionel drew her into a hug. Some people fear what they don't understand. Our job is to stay proud, stay safe, and change what we can. Under the porch light, the pool water reflected indigo sky. It had been a battlefield yesterday, today it whispered of resilience. Lionel clicked the gate lock, determined that his children's laughter, not sirens, would echo over Magnolia Ridge. Morning sun painted gold stripes across Magnolia Ridge as Lionel jogged, earbuds pumping lo-fi beats. Headlines on neighborhood lamppost flyers blared, pool arrest spurs policy shakeup. He slowed at the clubhouse. Arthur Blake had summoned an emergency HOA meeting. Emergency session inside, folding chairs brimmed with residents. Arthur cleared his throat. We've witnessed an egregious misuse of police resources. Today we propose 3 motions. Bodycam clause, residents may record any HOA interaction. Grace first policy, first infractions receive a warning, not fines. Bias awareness training, mandatory for board members. Debate erupted. One gray-haired dissenting voice muttered about political correctness, but was drowned by applause. All 3 motions passed. Beatrice's counterattack that evening. Lionel received certified mail. Beatrice Hawthorne vs. Magnolia Ridge HOA et al., defamation claim. The suit demanded damages for emotional distress. Lionel laughed bitterly. He forwarded the packet to attorney Selena Choi, who called it frivolous. Truth is an absolute defense. We'll file an anti-slap motion. Online, Beatrice posted a rambling Facebook Live, I'm the victim. He threatened me. Comments roasted her, screenshots of the arrest video flooded the feed. She deleted the video within hours. Internet never forgets. Media Blitz local station WXGA invited Lionel to discuss community reform. At first he declined, but Amaya convinced him, people need to hear solutions, Dad. Studio lights glared as anchor Tasha Morales asked, what's next for Magnolia Ridge? Lionel outlined the new HOA policies and stressed, accountability plus compassion equals safety. Viewers praised his calm clarity. The clip went viral statewide. Courtroom showdown preliminary hearing day. Lionel, in navy blazer, sat behind Selena in courtroom 2B. Beatrice approached defense table, eyes puffy, flanked by attorney Gerald Pike. Judge Monroe opened, Ms. Hawthorne, you face charges of false report, trespass, and bias-motivated harassment. Prosecutor played the pool video. The "you don't belong here" line echoed through the chamber, gasps hopped row to row. Gerald Pike argued stress, but Judge Monroe indicated probable cause for trial. Bail conditions tightened. Beatrice must stay 300 feet from Carter residence, HOA ground privileges revoked. Outside, reporters blitzed Lionel. He spoke briefly, "This isn't revenge. It's about setting clear lines so no child fears their own backyard." Dominoes fall within weeks. Beatrice's HOA violations, from illegal hedge height to unpaid dues, stacked like dominoes. Arthur invoked a seldom-used clause: any resident convicted of hate-based harassment could be fined triple dues and face eviction vote. For sale signs sprouted on Beatrice's lawn before verdict landed. Rumor said she'd moved to her sister's bungalow 2 towns over. Quiet triumph Saturday dusk, neighbors gathered for an impromptu potluck beside Lionel's pool. Dishes dotted tables, jerk chicken, kimchi sliders, samosas, a mosaic of cultures. Agnes, pardon, Beatrice, once complained, smelled up the cul-de-sac. Arthur raised a glass of sweet tea. To the Carters, for showing grace under fire. Cheers rippled. Lionel looked at his kids cannonballing, water sparkling under string lights. Magnolia Ridge still had work ahead, but bigotry had lost its grip on their address. The roses he'd planted near the pool ladder nodded in the night breeze, living proof that roots, once defended, can blossom unafraid. 6 months later, the trial commenced. Courtroom buzzed with reporters, state civil rights groups filed amicus briefs. Trial day 1, prosecutor Lena Rollins called Officer Ellis, who testified Beatrice displayed hostility unrelated to swimwear. Race clearly motivated the complaint. Video replayed for jurors. Amaya's quiet tears in the gallery didn't go unnoticed. Defense tried character witnesses, but Yelp rants surfaced, servers who barely speak English. Landscapers playing foreign music. Jurors scribbled notes. Lionel's turn on day 2, Lionel took the stand. Calm voice, steady hands. He described guiding his 10-year-old behind him as Beatrice raged, fearing one false move could turn lethal. He finished, "I recorded because history shows words alone aren't believed." Jurors nodded. Verdict after 4 hours, they returned, guilty on all counts. Sentence, 60 days county jail, 30 suspended, 200 hours community service with city diversity program, $5,000 restitution to Carter family for trauma therapy, mandatory bias awareness counseling. Judge Monroe addressed Beatrice. Prejudice weaponized law enforcement against children. This court will not tolerate such abuse. Community ripple. Magnolia Ridge applauded the decision. Arthur announced a new Neighbor Alliance Fund, dues surplus to support residents facing harassment litigation. Lionel donated his restitution to seed the fund. Media afterglow. CNN picked up the story, HOA turns hate incident into blueprint for reform. Lionel, now reluctant public figure, flew to D.C. for a panel on community policing. Attorney General's aide requested his HOA policy drafts. Personal healing at home, Micah practiced cannonballs again. Nia joined debate club on restorative justice. Amaya started a vlog, Teens Talk Bias, gaining thousands of subscribers. Dolores surprised Lionel with a rose hybrid named Second Chance, its petals sunset orange to crimson. They planted it by the mailbox once marred by violation notices. Unexpected letter. One crisp October morning, an envelope arrived. Handwritten return address, Beatrice Hawthorne, Restorative Program Unit. Inside, a short apology, Mr. Carter and family, my actions were hateful and wrong. Counseling opened my eyes. I'm sorry for the fear I caused. B.H. Lionel pondered. Forgiveness wasn't instant, but accountability had done its work. He placed the letter in a box labeled Evidence of Change, beside jury summons and a dried second chance petal. Spring again. Magnolia Ridge's annual meeting opened beneath fluttering multicultural pennants. As tech advisor, Lionel unveiled the new real-time transparency app. Residents could monitor complaints, see status, and appeal with one click. Download surpassed projections within days. Surrounding HOA's requested licenses, Lionel open-sourced the code. National Spotlight and NPR segment featured the app. Host asked, "What drove you?" Lionel replied, "I never want another parent pulling out a phone to prove their kids belong." Family milestones. Amaya earned a scholarship to study civil rights law. Nia won first place debating the resolution, HOAs should mandate bias training. Micah finally mastered a backflip dive, video hit 100K views, caption, "Fearless in my own pool." Dolores, ever practical, reminded Lionel to mulch the new second chance rose. He complied happily. The flower now bloomed crimson, a beacon against the white mailbox. One humid July afternoon, a familiar figure approached the Carter porch, Beatrice, hair pulled back, plain khakis replacing designer florals. She clutched a flat box. "May I?" she asked softly. Dolores ushered her to the glider. Kids watched from the doorway, curious yet cautious. Beatrice opened the box. Inside sat 3 handcrafted leather journals, each embossed with the children's names. "Your family kept records," she said. "These are blank, so you can write victories, not defenses." Emotions swirled. Lionel accepted the gift, noticing her trembling hands. "Thank you," he said. "What brings you here?" "I finish service hours next week," she replied, eyes glistening. "Part of the program is making amends. I volunteered at the diversity nonprofit, and cleaned public pools." A rueful smile. "Thought it fitting." Silence lingered, then Amaya stepped forward. "Mrs. Hawthorne, will fill these with good stories." Micah added, "Maybe one about a backflip." Nia nodded. "And debate wins." Beatrice exhaled, relief softening her posture. She left with a wave. Lionel noticed bright green shoots in the community garden behind her, her latest service project. Seedlings of change, indeed. 1 year after the infamous siren, Magnolia Ridge threw its first Unity Splash Bash, an all-community pool party rotating among backyards. The inaugural location? The Carter residence, of course. Tables brimmed with jerk tacos, pierogi, and kimchi sliders. Officer Ellis manned the grill, flipping burgers with comedic flair. Arthur Blake unveiled a plaque near the Second Chance Rose. Magnolia Ridge HOA honors the Carter family, proof that boundaries defended bloom into bridges. Applause erupted. Micah performed his signature backflip, Amaya live-streamed, Nia emceed trivia on civil rights milestones. As dusk fell, floating lanterns drifted across the pool, each bearing a resident's wish. Lionel read his silently, "May courage outshine fear." He set it on the water, watching its candle merge with others into a constellation of shared hope. Dolores sidled up, bumping his shoulder. "Worth every thorn." Lionel smiled, glancing at roses nodding in warm night air, children laughing freely, neighbors once strangers chatting like old friends. "Every single one," he said. The DJ cued the final track, an upbeat soul classic. Families danced on the pool deck, lantern lights flickering. From the street, the scene shimmered, proof that a driveway confrontation could, through resilience and accountability, transform into a community shining brighter than any porch light. And somewhere, in a quiet apartment across town, Beatrice Hawthorne watered tomato seedlings purchased from the community garden, nurturing growth she once tried to choke.